Hey everybody, and thanks for watching Woodcrest Bonsai. Today I'm going to work on 4 more Parrot Beak. And these were potted up at the same time as the Parrot Beak that I did about a week ago. Not the ones that I did just the other day. I know, I have too many. Wait, no, never. You can never have too many bonsai. And actually, a lot of my philosophy during most of my life is you can never have too much of anything. Of course, I learned the hard way that sometimes that doesn't work. Anyway, these are the 4 trees. I'm going to do the same thing. Going to take one at a time, look at the styling, decide what I want to do with removing branches, changing the angle perhaps, how much I like it, where is it on the scale of, I talk about trees being A, B, C, and D. D trees, I make the analogy of the ugly duckling. So even though a tree may not look great now, it still has potential to blossom back into a nice tree. So that's what we're doing today, these 4. So let's get started. So this is the first tree. It's in a very nice pot. And look how they root. They just root out of the pot so much. And it has a chop mark, but I'm not familiar with who made the pot. But now, where's the front of this thing? Does it have a front? I mean, it's in a round pot, so as far as the pot's concerned, the front could be anywhere. Has that massive scar there, which sometimes does not keep that from being the front, but for the most part, you want to hide those scars. And we have a whole bunch of really low growth. And, a sacrifice branch can help thicken the trunk, but these are too low because a sacrifice branch only, so let's say this is a sacrifice branch, it will help thicken the trunk from here down. These guys are just far, far too low. So I'm going to take those off. And Parrot Beak will sucker from the base like that. If I've got some in the ground, and man, they just suckered like crazy. And since I didn't get to them, they're all kind of like multi-trunks now. Okay, so now, keep spinning it around. Is there a front? Stop when you see a front. Or yell stop when you see a front. Is that the front? I don't know. I suppose. This is almost borderline of, let's put it in a bigger pot and just grow it on. So, well, I'm going to do something with it anyway. I've got a little tiny piece of growth right there, which could be a sacrifice branch. This one here, well, anyway, I'm going to take this off because this is far too heavy. And I'm going to take this one off too. See, I'm sort of hemming and hawing because as this thickens, it'll help heal that scar. But we're going to take it off anyway. And this one also. So now we have the skeleton. We'll bring this down as the first main branch, second main branch, apex, somewhere like that. Or maybe even just take this little guy as the first main branch, because this one's already pretty big. And I think I shall just shorten him. And then there's some incidental growth right here, what we don't need. Normally when I'm styling a tree, I want all my growth on the branches. I don't want little tiny stuff up and down the trunk kind of popping out. And Parrot Beak will do that too. So, does that look like much? Not really. But I can wire this guy and then we go from there. So I've got my piece of wire. I'm going to wrap it around the trunk about twice. There we go. This is really a very heavy branch if this is going to be the apex. But I don't really quite know what to do. Like I said, this guy is borderline of just put it in a bigger pot and let it grow up, let it go back to training, and then, start from there and go back to there, whatever. But for now, oh yeah, I need to cut these fruits out of here. And you can always tell most handmade pots, mainly because they're fairly unique. I keep wanting to think that this is a Sarah Rayner pot, but that's not the chop mark. She does her chop mark with an S and an R. But handmade pots made by potters that understand bonsai always have wire holes, so you can wire the tree into the pot. And this one is no different. In fact, of the 4 that I'm featuring in this video, 2 more are also in handmade pots. And then the third, or the last one, number 4, is in a commercial, mass-produced, I think it's Japanese. And as is normally the case, I have window screen. And since it was a round pot, I think I just put the screen all the way around the bottom of the pot. Yeah, there we go. How to put square screen. Say that 10 times fast. Square screen in a round pot. And the pot is really pretty clean. So, square screen. Sounded like Elmer Fudd. Oh no, I don't have my scoop. Please, I apologize. Alright, so should I maybe change the angle on this guy a little bit? I really didn't cut any roots either. It's got a big old knob right here. But I don't think that's that big of a deal. So change the angle. A little bit? I don't know. Okay. I agree. I heard somebody out there say change the angle. Nice new fresh soil. Alright. He's done. Number 2 is the tallest tree of the bunch. And it's also in a handmade pot. Although I don't know why, but the potter put the feet, one in front and then one on either side. And I'm not really into that. I don't like that foot in the front. Now when we put this guy down and we look at it, you really don't even notice it, especially when it's not in the camera. But I really like my feet to be more like on the corners here, not in front and on the sides. But once again, I got this pot from my friend, and I wasn't going to just throw it away because and I've obviously used it. So why am I doing this? I don't know. I need to look at the styling first. And so let's see, what do we got here? This is also a massive branch. If it's going to be one of the main branches, this one's pretty massive too, actually. And right now it doesn't look that bad, but over time what will happen is this branch is almost as thick. In fact, it's thicker than the main trunk. And this branch is also thick. So when the tree gets really, really old, those branches will compete visually with the apex. I want to chop this stuff out of here, and then the back branch is actually below. This could be a sacrifice branch right here, that guy there. Cut everything back. So this one has, at least I think I'm going to put it like that more. This is very straight, but it has some motion up in here, so I think if we angle the trunk, it will be better visually. So now I'm going to take it out of the pot. Oh, and look at that. It's actually got the little macrame. Although they've broken up too. That stuff ends up degrading also. Microplastic. It's in your blood. Okay, so where's my garbage? So I need a new piece of screen. But I have it right here. Window screen. And a lot of times if I'm using window screen on a pot like this, I'm just going to put it all the way across. So I'm going to cut it a little smaller than the length, and then like that. Put it down in there. Oh, I didn't. Man, what am I doing with this one? I'm just. You have to prune the roots a little bit. Very healthy roots. Which certainly needs some cutting. Okay. Oh, I don't like that. See that root right there? Comes like this and then all back. But we have this root right. Oh, no, that's not part of it. We have this little guy right here, though. So I'm going to take it off to right there. Get rid of that guy. Okay. Actually, it could go even more. I'm going to do some concave cutting on that. There we go. Okay, do we change the angle? The jury's still out on that. Something like that. And this is my very rocky bonsai soil. This size is what goes through 1/4 inch and stays on 1/8 of an inch. Or is that right? Or maybe it goes through 1/8 of an inch and stays on 1/16. Okay. Oh yeah, let's kick the tripod. Well, I do that about 4 out of 5 videos. Alright, not bad. And actually, on this one here, I think I've saved the best for last. On the last video, I saved the worst for last. The one that I actually chose not to even style because it was just not developed enough. But the next 2 trees are really quite nice, at least as far as I'm concerned. And we have this bizarre thing here, which really is not going to do anything for us. And then we have this little tiny branch down here, which could be a sacrifice branch, but I don't know. Okay. So, you know, first main branch, second main branch, back branch. Nice movement. The one thing I'm looking at is this is also very heavy. But for now, I think I'm just going to leave it. So as far as styling, that guy's pretty much done. I think the front is in a good place. I do want to take off this knob right here. There. And it has also rooted out of the pot. They're not as bad as ficus. I've got some ficus that have not only escaped from the pot, the root has grown all the way to the ground. So the tree is actually taking sustenance from the ground, even though it's in a bonsai pot. And ficus are notorious for that. Okay, here we go. This is another very nice pot. There's the chop mark on the inside. Interesting. But it has the wire holes and a beautiful glaze. I really like this pot a lot. It's quite a nice pot. And window screen, right? Yep. Okay, so let's get the pot out of the way. And these guys are nowhere near as root bound as the last batch I did. Although they still lost all their leaves in the cold. I may experiment with making a little bit of a temporary greenhouse in the winter and putting all my heavily tropical trees in a house that I can heat, even if it just gets down into the 50s or the 40s. Put a little source of heat on there. Okay. Pot is pretty clean. Put him back in there. Give him a little bit of a root prune. The roots on this tree are not perfect. We have one gigantic root here. But I don't think that really is that bad. Maybe change the angle a little tiny bit. I'm going to take that root and cut it even more. And as I've said, I have a lot of Parrot Beak. I fell in love with them when I first got my first one, which I just restyled. Maybe I'll show you that video at the end of this one. You can click on the link and go to my restyling of my very first Parrot Beak. You know, the mother of all of these, although they aren't all cuttings from that tree. I took cuttings from that tree, and then those trees, I took cuttings from them. Okay. Oops, stop. So there's number 3. And these guys are at the point where I call them the skeletonization. So now we're going to get foliage to fill out. And so in probably a year or maybe 2, they will be so much fuller, and the foliage will all be on the pads, and they will look so much more like a more classic bonsai tree. And this is number 4, and this is my favorite tree of the bunch. I love the movement. It's got interesting nabari. I love the movement. It's got decent taper. It has a little bit of knobbiness up in here where a lot of branches were cut away. But I really like this tree. So I've changed my position, so I guess I'll work from over here. I probably don't really need a sacrifice branch. So I'm going to take this guy off. And even though this is the front and it's got some scars, that's okay. And some of these branches are a little big too, a little heavy. And I could take this one off and work with some of these really small ones. And I don't like this eye poker right here. I'm going to shorten it tremendously. So I think I'm going to leave that guy for now. But I love the way this tree moves. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to get rid of that knob. Probably not. There was an old branch right here that's kind of creating that knob. But I don't want to hurt this branch. So that looks a little better. A little better. And now this tree is in just a mass-produced, I don't know whether it's Chinese or Japanese. And Japanese pots used to be, even the mass-produced ones, used to be the gold standard for bonsai pots. But the Chinese have developed some pots that now are pretty nice pots. So take this guy out of there. Find the window screen. And you notice mass-produced pot. No wire holes. So sometimes it has a little sticker made in Japan and it'll still be on there. Oh, and you can even see where it was slip cast. I think you can see it. These little round things right there and right there, that was where it was pushed out of the mold. So it goes into the mold, the other mold comes in here and squishes the clay out into the form. And then to get it out of the mold, there are 2 pins. So you can imagine the tree like this and the 2 pins like this, the pot like this, and then the 2 pins come and push it out of the mold. And that's what those 2 guys are. Very similar to plastic manufacturing. And I actually did some plastics manufacturing back long, long, long ago. Didn't get the mesh out yet. There we go. Where it's really rooted through the mesh. And you know, I could just as easily throw this mesh away and put brand new in there. You can buy a whole, roll of window screen for a few bucks, but I mean, since it's also indestructible, literally, okay, then we got the tree. It needs a little bit more root pruning. I like the Nabari on this guy. It's just, it's heavy, but it's in, the positioning is nice. So I want this guy to be a little more over here. So I'm going to take off that really big knobby root right there. A little bit deeper so I can get it over there like that. And I apologize for not having my scoop. What's ironic is I use the scoop to take the soil that I'm using and put it in the container that I brought to my workbench because I don't want to bring my giant container. It's just too heavy, too ungainly. And of course there's no need to bring an entire 5-gallon bucket when all you need is maybe a quart of soil. Okay. Definitely my favorite tree of these 4, just the way it moves. I have a bunch of trees that look just like this, and I wonder why. I'm such a creature of habit. But, I've said this over and over and over again on other videos, too, is we all have our own style. And there's certainly nothing wrong with that. Find the style that you like, and then style your trees like that. So can we get them all back in the frame? I think in order to do that I need to back the camera up a little bit. So there you go. 4 more Parrot Beak. And I swear I have more bonsai than just Parrot Beak. Although this is the time of year. Parrot Beak is actually a very tropical tree, so these guys probably could have been root pruned even another month from now, or even 2 months from now, or in the middle of the summer, and do okay, versus some of my more temperate trees that really needed to be done in the dead of winter. And I'm happy that I got most of them done. I did all my junipers except maybe 1 or 2. I did all my shillings that I wanted to do. I got most of my bald cypress into individual pots except for 1 tray. So yeah, and then your really tropical trees like ficus and dwarf black olive, they need to be done much further down the road, like May, June. It has to be really hot all the time. And some ficus will respond. Earlier than that, it depends a lot on how warm it gets. So anyway, clean up a little bit here. 4 more Parrot Beak. So please give me a like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you haven't already. I truly appreciate everybody that watches my videos. And God, where do I go next? What do I do next? I guess I should start on the bench. In fact, I'm going to sand the wood today. And actually I have another bench I need to finish before I can actually start on that old bench. So I'm going to finish it first. If I ever got organized, that'd be dangerous. But I don't think there's any worry about that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Leave a comment. I know I'm getting a little redundant. I promise you I will not do any more Parrot Beak, at least not for a couple more days. No, I'm just joking. We're going to go on to something else. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in a video that does not have Parrot Beak.